Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. I am back again doing your monthly tarot horoscope for everyone with their sun, moon, or ascendant in Libra. This is with a sex and relationship focus. I am using what I call my sex deck, okay? It's an erotic deck. It's the Decameron deck. This is quite a well-known deck. I was doing some reading online, and I decided it was somebody who also does the kind of work that I do, like healing work, and she had recommended it, and I was like, I hadn't heard of it. So I looked it up online, and I got so excited. I was like, I have to get this, So I got it, and I was working on it all through February, trying to kind of perfect it. And I took 2 cards out, and I made 2 cards my own cards. And then I spent a lot of time, I'll show you, writing, on the card, so making it really apply to the modern world and what I feel like it is. So it's going to be different than if you just look up Decameron Tarot and go through the book there. It's not going to be the same. And I really don't talk very much about whether, you got the 2 of Cups or the 3 of Wands in this deck, because it doesn't really matter much, because the images to me are so clear. So I'll just say that. So this is for mature viewers. This is for 18 and over. This is adult content, mature, like I said, mature viewers only. This is, erotic. This is erotica. This is graphic nudity and strong sexual content. So I was telling the other signs I'm going to be covering a lot of ground. You're going to hear me saying things that you maybe never thought that I would say. And I didn't think that I would say either on camera, but, I was thinking about it, and I said, I think the world needs the Decameron Tarot by Oracle Daphne, because there's 50 Shades of Grey in review right now, and everybody's saying that it's a big disappointment. And I think the reason it's a big disappointment is because it doesn't maybe get as graphic as everybody wants it to get. So everybody's kind of craving this kind of graphic, erotic content. And I figured, what the hell? Why not? So that's what I'm doing. But I was 2 steps ahead, way before the movie came out. I was 2 steps ahead with this deck. I was working on it. So this is for everyone with their sun, moon, or ascendant in Libra for the month of March 2015. I am going to still be doing my regular videos, and I am going to be doing a whole other series as well for health and with my herbal deck that I completed. So, and in the future, I actually am working on a 4th deck, which is for finances, which is going to be mind-blowing, but I haven't completed that yet, so so stay tuned for that. So I have a lot of stuff going on, and people have asked me, where have you posted? Why didn't I post February? Well, I wanted to get these decks perfected, and I've been very busy with private clients. So if you wish to have a reading, I still have private clients, and feel free to email me, elizabetholson31@gmail.com. So yeah, so let's see what you guys get. I'm excited to see what you get, Libra. You did get one of the wild cards. Okay. You have some interesting stuff here, Libra. Interesting stuff. Okay, so the Foundation is one of my wild cards, and it's kind of an inside joke with a friend of mine. I was working on some Wi-Fi, and we were messing around with the Wi-Fi names, and the Wi-Fi name was 069, something crazy like that. And so I added this card in there, just kind of as a fun, you know, joke, and also because it's probably one of the most passionate cards that you could get, because it says hot, I wrote on here, hot, passionate sex with much foreplay, which may or may not include the 69 position. Ooh la la. Okay. This is the foundation. So in the distant past for you, Libra, you were having hot, passionate sex with a lot of foreplay, and it was good. And it may or may not have included this 69 position. You were, to me, the 069 card is, it's really about getting it on. Just getting it on. You know, it's full-blown wild sex. It is. It's good. Not that Libras are wild per se, but I feel like they can be if they want to be. That's the Libra thing. Libras can go one way or the other because they're the scales. So, this is what you were doing in the past, okay, in the distant past. Now it feels like you're a little bit lonely. Maybe you're not, right now, this is the card that's going, well, sorry, not right now, sorry, the recent past. Recently, you've been going through this little period of time, which I feel like is the lonely time. It's kind of, it says, a man or woman who goes out at night to bars or clubs, etc. on dates, who may be cheating at night. If single, this is a person who needs sex at night as they become very lonely at night, okay? If you're in a marriage, if you're married, I feel like you're having sex at night, predominantly, okay? But there's a little bit of restlessness. I feel like in relationships for you, Libra, there's restlessness. It's like at night you become restless. If you're not having sex, you want to have sex, but maybe for some reason your partner's away, or your partner's not home, or there's something going on with the absence of this person which would fill the void. And so whether you're single, whether you're married, it just feels like you guys haven't been doing it that much at night. In the recent past, you just kind of cooled off and you went through a cooling period. This cooling period may have lasted some time where neither party was initiating sex, and so it just kind of became where at night you didn't have sex, you know, or maybe you went out at night instead. Maybe you decided that you were going to go to a bar instead and hang out with the guys, or if you're a girl, hang out with the girls, or, you know, you were going out. And so this feels to me like you're restless. You're just bored. You're just like, it's not necessarily boredom per se, but it's just like you're missing, you feel like you're missing something. The thing that you're missing is the hot passion sex that you were having, but you're not having now for some reason. Maybe, you know, you broke up with that person and now you're in single, you were in single land for a little while, and it's just saying that I feel like there was a period of time that you were going through where you weren't getting it on, okay? What's crowning you now, though, is this very graphic, interesting card. Okay, this is where stuff gets hot here, okay? You can see this guy is working on her nipple, okay? And basically the clothes have come off, and she's in the middle of cooking dinner. It says, someone who has an oral fixation. Who's a great kisser, great with their tongue, someone who loves breasts, big breasts especially. A man so overcome with desire, he takes the woman on the kitchen table in the middle of eating or by surprise. A man who loves a woman who cooks to thoroughly enjoy each other. The taste of each other is divine. So yeah, someone who's really into kissing. I feel like someone here is really into kissing. And Libras are great kissers, generally. They are. They can be. Not everyone's a great kisser, you know? So the thing is this person, this is what's crowning you right now. The person that you're with is dating. They like the kissing, you know, oral experience, whether that's going down on you, whether that's kissing you, whether that's eating with you, whether that's, you know, kissing your neck, you know, it doesn't, you know, or kissing your breast or breasts, you know, it doesn't have to be where they're just into kissing. They could be into the whole oral thing. This could also be someone who smokes too. I feel like someone smokes, although I'm not a fan of smoking at all. But I feel like a lot of times people have oral fixation. They smoke or they tend to drink. So I feel like Libra, there are some of you who have an oral fixation, and in the recent past you weren't really handling it well. You were maybe drinking and smoking and you know, eating, and instead of putting it to good use, which is, and I'll wink here, and which is, you know, enjoying a partner, you know, enjoying the sexual experience. Okay, so it's quite interesting. Okay, now the path that you're on, okay, at the heart of the issue, you've got this card, which it used to be kind of a crazy, I didn't like it card, but I changed it. So she's got chocolate on her face, and he's carrying this big bunch of flowers, which I drew. Okay, and it says chocolate, flowers, and kisses. Tantalizing foreplay, a suitor who wants to woo and gets excited about it. To get excited on the first date or to look forward to fun in the bedroom. If married, experiment with objects and food in the bedroom. Okay, so that's the suggestion here. If single, this can indicate Mr. Wrong or Mr. Right, depending on how serious the guy or girl is. Okay, if you can make it to 10 date, he will propose. Okay, and this is an engagement or marriage. Okay, so you may be thinking about proposing to somebody. Okay, you maybe have gotten to a point where I feel like you may have gotten to a point where you're ready to take the leap. You know, Libras are the marrying type. Libras love to get married. Okay, so this is to me, this is you, Libra. This is you. You know, you've met this girl and you're totally into her, and you want to propose. If you're a Libra guy, okay. If you're a Libra female, then you've met someone who really will take it to that level. So if you don't want to get married, this is not the person for you, because they will push to get to that level. They want marriage. They want the commitment. They want that level of intensity, you know? And generally, Libras love to, you know, they're the ones who bring the chocolate and the flowers. They have no problem. Libras are like the kings and queens of romance, okay? Kings and queens of romance. They have great sense of style in relationships, and just, they like the finer things in life. So it's not surprising that this comes up for you, Libra. And if you haven't been enjoying the finer things of life, you know, get back into doing that, you know, because that's what's called for here. So now, interestingly enough, okay, so we've got, I feel like the story here is that, this is one of the stories, okay, potential stories, is that in the distant past, you were having hot, passionate sex. And then you went through this cooling period where instead of having sex, you know, maybe you broke up with that person, you were going out at night and you were drinking and you were partying and you were just engaging in a lot of debauchery, and you were not really committed to anything in particular, and you were just, you know, flitting and floating around the universe, okay? It's possible that you were sleeping with someone, but unlikely. It just feels like it was like a cooling period, okay? And then you met this this person here who really made you like so overcome, you know, with desire and passion that you just, it was like you grabbed her and you kissed her on the first date. You know, you couldn't help it. You're like, I have to, you know, you're really into her. And now it feels like that, you know, this could go to the next level. This could go to the level of proposing. This could go to that next, you know, that marriage. You know, you've been dating. It's possible that you've been dating for some time. And now things are getting really good. And it's funny because I'm talking about instant chemistry. What's crossing you is instant chemistry, okay? And I love this card. This is one of my favorite cards, okay? So you can see the guy is kind of holding on to this girl here, and her dress is almost off completely, and they're having sex on, or at least about to have sex anyways, on this horse. Okay, and the horse is going, what the hell is going on? Okay, the horse is going, really? Are we doing this right now? Can you do this later? The horse doesn't mind per se, but it's really just freaking out. Okay, but the horse is smiling. The horse is really smiling. So it's like, the horse knows what's going on. Okay, and it says, to meet someone and have instant chemistry, strong desire for each other, and sex on both partners. It says mutual attraction. A man who is not intimidated by a voluptuous woman, okay, and to see the hot in each other, okay. It says wanting to rip each other's clothes off and needing to do so becomes so strong it is almost unbearable. I wrote the urge to fuck is strong, okay. So this is like, so we have these two very strong chemistry things going on here. We've got this one where they're doing it or about to do it on the horse, okay? And the story behind this is guy meets girl, okay, or girl meets guy somewhere out in the world, okay? And like they come like this, and like it's like they can stand next to each other and they look at each other, and it's like the eyes, you know, and it's just like, whoa, you know, you feel that the room, everything slows down and everything starts to sizzle really quickly, you know, it's the frying pan is turned on, and so and it gets really hot in the room, you know, that kind of thing, and guy is like, do you want to come take a ride with me on the horse? In my mind, in the modern world, this would be the guy being like, you want to come home with me? And the girl is saying, yeah, sure, let's do it. And so the girl gets in the car, okay, or in the old days it would have been, girl gets on the horse with the guy and drives home and goes home. Or the girl gets in the car with the guy, and they're like not even like 2 seconds into the car where her dress is completely off, and they're basically almost having sex in the car, okay? So, you know, this is very strong chemistry. In this one, this is where, okay, so in this storyline, the guy has this, I feel like it's the guy, it's a mutual attraction, okay? But at the same time, the guy is really overtaken with the girl. Like, he's really obsessed with this girl. He wants to kiss this girl so badly. He wants to make love to her so badly that it's just, he can't help it. So it just kind of like explodes, you know? It just kind of happens suddenly. She's not expecting it. She's making dinner or something like that. Whereas this is, you know, she wants it and he wants it, and they're doing it in the car, okay? Or out somewhere. They don't even get home. They don't make it home, okay? So they go on the date, maybe, you know. I don't even feel like it's a first date. I feel like it's when they meet each other. To me, this is instant, okay? But it could be the first date, okay? First date, you don't make it home without having sex. You do it before you know, it reminds me of very, like, young. So some of you are very young. It reminds me a little bit of, like, college age. Some of you may be in college and just, like, have, like, you may have had a strong connection or have a strong connection with somebody, Um, that's kind of what I'm feeling. That you're young, you know, and so you're not really so interested in where it goes. And so these kind of instant chemistry kind of things happen more often because you're not thinking so much and you're not holding back. You're just kind of like going out in the world and experiencing it like a child would, you know. Um, so, and a lot of people, you know, one of the reasons I like this deck and one of the reasons I'm doing this is because a lot of people think, you know, were raised in, you know, in very repressed households, sexually repressed households. And they think, well, maybe sex is dirty or sex is wrong or sex is illegal or something, you know, it's bad, you know, and it's not. And so, you know, a lot of times people go and they hook up right away because it's like the minute they see a guy or they get attention from a guy or a girl, you know, either way, or it could be a guy getting attention from another girl, or another man, or a woman getting attention from another woman. Either way, however the situation plays out, it's somebody just going out and getting that right away, like so fast, because they lived in the house. I call it the house of repression, where for some reason that their parents didn't talk to them about sex, didn't raise them to think sex is good. They raised them to think sex is bad or dirty, or, you know, they limited and they said, well, you're not allowed to have sex before marriage, or they put all these crazy limits on it. So the first thing that the people that grew raised this way do is they go out and they hook up with somebody, whoever it is, and it doesn't matter who they are, which is actually probably worse than if, you know, they were raised to think that sex is actually a good thing and that it's doesn't have to be bad or dirty or rushed or anything like that. So it's just interesting to me how that all comes up. So where was I? So yes. So what you don't see coming is this card. It's a very interesting card, and I do like this image quite a lot, actually. A lot of people who have reviewed the Decameron deck like this because he does have a gorgeous penis. However, okay, so it says a gorgeous couple that looks good together, but has no sexual chemistry. Okay, so it says his gorgeous cock is wasted by her lack of enthusiasm and inexperience. Little or no experience. The current partner will soon be history. Sexual can also indicate sexual frustration. Okay, can also indicate a strong desire for sex for a particular person, or wanting or yearning for someone. Okay, so the story about this card is it feels like, okay, Libra, that there is someone that maybe you know of. This could be you, but I feel like this could be someone that you know of that that doesn't have any sexual chemistry in their relationship. Okay, this could be you. Maybe it seems very strange that you would have moved on from this serious relationship. Some of you, okay, it's possible for you to have gotten past that initial attraction into the relationship, and now in the future you're going to be moving on from it. Some of you, it doesn't feel like that for all of you. It feels like for most of you, you're headed into a serious relationship where there is chemistry, okay? Because to me, this is chemistry, okay? This is not chemistry. And I'm not saying, you know, it's not, to me, this is just what the card represents, okay? It's all about yearning and desiring someone, okay? Also, so it doesn't have to mean that you're in a relationship. You don't have to be a couple. You may just be kind of wanting or desiring somebody. And that person that you're wanting or desiring may be already in a relationship, okay? Or may have a girlfriend or may have a boyfriend. And the thing is that relationship is not, his or her relationship is not going to last, okay? And if this is you, Libra, whichever partner this is, it is possible that the initial chemistry has worn off and, it's not going to last. Maybe things happen too quickly, things burnt out too fast, or happened too fast. So for some of you, there's an element of rushing and going too fast and not taking your time, not going on enough serious dates. Too much sex too fast, okay? And now it's just kind of like maybe you don't have as much chemistry as you initially thought. Or maybe, time has passed in the relationship and you kind of lost interest. It's kind of become, the excitement's worn off, you've lost interest, and it's like you want to move on. So that's kind of how I feel about this card. And it is also, I'm going to talk a little bit about this because this is important. It is also sort of speaking to how people get into relationships where it looks good on paper, okay, or it looks good from the outside, but on the inside, the two people aren't really into each other anymore. People that may have stayed together for some time, and it's gone, it's dead, it's died. She's doing it just to do it. Or he's in it just to be there, and Libras have a difficult time with conflict. It's so funny. Again, I feel like this is an Aries-Libra combination, okay? It doesn't have to be. This could be also an Aries-Taurus combination. Sag and Gemini also. The opposites, okay? The opposites. This is an opposites combination. Could be also Capricorn, Cancer, although I don't really feel that way. I feel like it's more, like I said, Gemini, Sag, Aries, Taurus, Aries, Libra. This could be Aries, Cancer as well. I don't know if we got this for Virgo. This could also be a Virgo combination. Virgo, Taurus, or Virgo, Cap. Something with Virgo. Or even Virgo, like Gemini, which would be a strange combination, I feel. But something is not quite right. So people from the outside think you're so happy, think that things are really, really great. Or Libra, like I said, you may know this couple, and this couple you may envy this couple. You may think this is a great couple. But on the inside, it's not. So that Libra, if this is you, your relationship has gotten to a point where it looks great on paper. It looks great from the outside. You may go out to parties, or you may go out with friends, and they may think that your relationship is amazing. It's maybe as amazing as it always was. That's what they think, but it's not, because on the inside, you guys don't even want to have sex anymore. Not really, You're just kind of going through the motions, and you're just in it to stay in it because you don't want to break up. You're so afraid. People get so afraid of being alone that they don't want to break up. But inevitably, a breakup is coming. That's this card. I mean, it's strange. Okay, so it is the Tower card. Okay, it is the Tower card. But this Tower card is different. It's different than the regular Tower cards. There's no impending doom here. Although I do think that because this relationship, in the future is going to lack some chemistry. And you're not in it any longer for the right reasons. You're in it because it's, the status quo. You never want to be in a relationship at status quo. You always want to be growing together, just kind of going through life in a growth kind of way. Growth, with the emphasis on growth, okay? That's the thing. So this is where things really start to get good. So in the future, you're going to have some things going on here, okay? In the position of emotions, okay? You got this card, okay? And so you can't see the guy on the top there, but he's revealing, he's lifting up this sheet, which in my mind is not everyone's in bed together, although it's possible that everybody's having this orgy. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Okay, so 2 couples, 4 people. Potentially they're all lovers. Okay, so this is where emotionally you're done with the lies. You're done with the cheating. You want to know the truth. You want to know what's really going on with your partner. Okay, and this is where everything's going to be revealed to you. Okay, you want it all to be revealed to you. It says the lies, the cheating, the games come to an end. Okay, the end of a cycle of cheating, the end of a cycle of being cheated on. This is the end of having multiple partners. You know, and only needing one. Okay, and it says finding out the truth, fights, betrayal, and jealousy. It says the end of bad behavior and knowing why it's wrong, needing to understand right from wrong. Okay, so this is in the position of emotion. You want to know. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is you need to learn a lesson. You need to understand that this is not good behavior. Okay, this is again, you know, potentially you going out at night, getting involved with these people. You know, there's people involved here that that you're sleeping with, and you know it's multiple partners. Okay, it's not just one. And it could be that you know you're going through a string of relationships or partners, and you're done, finally just done. You're done with the games, and you're just like, I just want to have one partner. Maybe it's just like you've been through a lot of relationships. You've dated a lot, you know, and for whatever reason, you know, you haven't been able to get to that point where you are in a committed relationship. You know, there has been a lot of lies, a lot of jealousy, a lot of cheating, a lot of cycles where you've been cheated on and then, or you've cheated on somebody, you know, and it's a cycle. And also there's this, you know, cycle of breaking up and getting back together too. That happens quite often with people who are in relationships where there's cheating. So, this is what you want to come to an end, or this is what's coming to an end in your life in the future, where you learn that this is not how it's supposed to be, okay? Or this is not good behavior, okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with having multiple partners. There's nothing wrong with having a wild orgy, okay? Huge fan of, you know, crazy wild parties. However, this is for people who are single. This is for people who are not in a relationship. If you're in a relationship, this kind of behavior is not for you because it creates bad karma. It creates this negative aspect of it. Whereas it would be good, okay? And it would be healthy to go out and it's healthy to sleep with people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with sleeping with people. But the problem is that it gets to a point where if you're in a relationship, there's lies, there's cheating, there's jealousy. It gets messy. And it doesn't have to be that way. You know, it would be better if you were single and you were like, okay, I'm just going to go out and fuck everyone, you know. Fine, do it. It's your life, you know, as long as you're responsible, as long as you're careful, as long as you're not trying to hurt somebody, as long as you're not lying and cheating and doing all that stuff, it's fine. But this is bad behavior. This is the kind of bad behavior that people get into. And if you're with someone, it's bad behavior. It's disrespectful to the person you're with. Because on the one hand, the person you're with is kind of going like, you know, they're going like, they think you're perfection. They're thinking, you know, you're in love. They're thinking, you know, you love them. And when they find out the truth, it's going to be devastating. So to me, this is a very difficult moment in time. Where when you do find out the truth, it's going to be very heavy, very, very intense. You know, chocolate and some tissues. Talk about chocolate here. This is where chocolate is needed, okay? Um, so, interestingly, for some of you, after that comes to an end, you're going to be going through something a little bit more less intense. Okay, so you may have, see, it's this girl, it says unending passion and fantasies that are lived out and played out in a relationship. A relationship that has enough excitement to last a lifetime. There's a desire for sex and games in the bedroom. Okay, I wrote, get it on. I said, sex makes people happy. Okay. It also says time to get it on, the waiting comes to an end. So if you're waiting to have a relationship, or you're waiting to have a relationship where you can play games, where you can, tie each other up, or you can wear a mask, or you can, dress up in some way, or you can just kind of live out whatever fantasies you got in your head, okay? That's what's coming in from the outside, okay? For you to kind of be more playful and live out some fantasies and to have a relationship that's very passionate, okay? And for those of you who don't see that, that's what you are going to be wanting. That's going to be your focus, okay? The problem here is in your attitude, this isn't the position of your attitude, is the cheating, okay? This is the cheating situation here, okay? So this is the card about cheating, and it says an affair, okay? The male is cheating, the female is just in it for the sex and the fun of it, for the power and selfish desire and lust. It says they're doing it without thought for other people involved. One or both get hurt. It says it's a lose-lose situation. Basically, so I'm talking about this girl here. It says she is happy until she falls for him. It says make sure that a short-term affair does not go long-term. So this is what it sounds like to me. It sounds like Libra females. You were in a relationship with a guy who was going out at night and cheating with multiple partners. And you find out. In the future, you're going to find out. And it's all going to come down, crashing down, okay? And it's going to get shut down. And it's going to be the end of the cycle. But your attitude is focused on this cheating. It's possible that you're just like, screw that, I'm going to go and I'm going to do what I want. Because you felt maybe disempowered from the relationship you're in. So you're going to go out and you're going to sleep with someone who's unavailable. In a way, to get back at the person that was cheating on you. Which is terrible, okay? But anyways, I feel like you're this girl who's riding on the back of the horse. And you're like, you want the power because you want to take it away from the other person, the other girl in the relationship with the guy, okay? There's the guy and there's the girl, and you want to take the power away from the girl. And you're not being considerate to the other girl. You're just thinking, well, I'm better, I'm hotter, he doesn't love her anyways, whatever, okay? And then for a Libra male, this is you wanting to cheat. Maybe this girl comes into your life, okay? And it's possible this is the same girl for some of you, for this story that's been going on. Maybe this is, for some of you, your girlfriend, Things are really fun and playful and good. There's some reason you want to cheat. It's not enough. Like, you feel like you meet another hot girl. And you're like, do I cheat on the girlfriend that I'm with? I was just... we went through that with my ex-girlfriend, and I don't want to cheat on anybody, but, maybe you want to cheat, okay? And it's unfortunate because, in my mind, you didn't learn the lesson that you were supposed to learn. So it's like you're repeating a pattern, Libra. Do not repeat the pattern, okay? If you have cheated on somebody in the past, do not cheat on somebody in the future. If this girl is not what you want, for whatever reason, don't go out with this girl is bad news, okay? The girl that you're interested in to cheat on, okay, to have an affair with, she's bad news because she will fall in love with you. And ultimately, girls fall in love, That's how it happens. You know, their heart lives in the vagina. So you've got to not sleep with this girl. You've got to say, okay, if I want to fool around, I need to be single. That's it. Because this girl really is only into male Libras because you're in a relationship. It's like she wants what the other girl has, okay? She wants the power of breaking you up. She wants, you know, she's like a temptress, you know? But she's also juvenile in the sense that she doesn't realize that she's going to get hurt. She's gonna, because girls always say, you know, they're not going to get hurt and whatever. But they inevitably, they fall in love. So she's going to fall in love with you, and then you're going to be stuck with two women that both love you. Not that that's bad, but it's a lot to handle, you know? And Libras are always like, well, I can handle it, you know, balancing the world. No. Eventually, the Libra scales get tipped, okay? And things get really messy very quickly. Okay, so the outcome here is, I think of this as the love potion card. This is a funny card. This is the magician, okay? And initially he was holding something else, but I created this heart there. It's like a stopper, either like on a perfume bottle, or it could be even like a dart. You can see it's this guy, he's kind of hanging out with this girl. To me, this is the having sex at work card, okay? I think of also as a love potion card. I'll tell you why in a minute. It says to have sex at work or to have the hots for someone at work, to meet someone while they are working or on the job, i.e. the cable guy, the plumber, the FedEx man, the UPS man. I said role play may be fun. Being naughty, let's see, with the threat of getting caught is exciting. Okay, so the idea here is, you know, Libra, you may kind of have the hots for somebody at work. You may kind of like the idea, you know, it's exciting for you to get caught, the idea of getting caught. It says to have a strong desire when you know you shouldn't. It says to fuck in the kitchen, to want to fuck with food involved, whipped cream, strawberries, chocolate. Okay, so we've got the chocolate here situation. So Libra, some of you really like food, okay? So food is definitely part of this, okay? Some of you might work in a restaurant. Some of you, I feel like some of you, maybe even a police officer or something like that. You know, somebody in uniform, somebody, you know, maybe in the Navy, Army, Navy, too. You may have the hots for somebody who's in the Army and Navy, or like the whole idea of the uniform. Again, it's all about wanting somebody like the work. You know, it's like you know, this outfit, this prestige, this is, you know, it's a turn on, you know. It's like having the hots for a guy in a suit, you know, which goes back to How I Met Your Mother and all that too. Okay, so we're not going to go there. But anyways, it's the show How I Met Your Mother, by the way. If you're not familiar, there's a show. It's called How I Met Your Mother. It's very popular still. So the reason I call it a love potion is because this person loves food, okay? One of the people in your life loves food. You could be the Libra man, or you could be the Libra woman who has a boyfriend or husband who likes food, and food is love for them. So when they cook for you or they bake for you, it's like they're giving you love, okay? And they're putting everything into the food. I'm also getting that some of you really like perfume, too, because this is, to me, I imagine this as perfume, so some of you really like perfume. The outcome, I feel like, is to going back to the story, you have temptations, Libra. You may have temptations. The temptation is strong to have sex while you're at work, you know. There's a strong cheating element. There's part of you that wants to cheat. And I feel like the responsible thing is to not do it because it's creating bad karma. But I'm not here to lecture you. I'm here to tell you that I see that you're tempted to cheat. You're either tempted to cheat at work or you're tempted to cheat kind of like on the down low with someone who doesn't really care, and she should. She doesn't have as much self-respect for herself, and she doesn't care that if she breaks you up with whoever you're with, she doesn't care about that either. In my mind, you don't want to be with somebody who's like that, because she has her own issues. She needs to respect herself more. She needs to love herself more. You should even tell her that, okay? I don't necessarily like where this is going, Libra. I feel like your relationships, if you're in a relationship, are going to be tested in the month of March by cheating, by being just tempted to cheat. For those of you who have strong chemistry and a strong relationship, you know, you need to kind of do a little bit, you kind of need to kind of stretch your imagination and do some fun things in the bedroom that changes it up. You need to either buy her some perfume, some flowers, you know, tie each other up, wear a mask, use some chocolate and whipped cream, do things that are just like what you would not normally do. Libras, especially if you have a Taurus moon, get really, really stuck in the same status quo. Not good for relationships. So you need to change things up. And if you're dating, it feels like you may be dating multiple people and you may be getting sick of dating multiple people and you're ready for love. But then it's possible that you may meet someone and you might want to be exclusive with that person, but then you meet all these other people that you want to date too. So I feel like you're getting pulled in a lot of different directions, okay? For those of you who are dating. And the thing about the cheating is, those of you who have been cheated on by someone and it's been horrible, okay, because it seems like it could be really horrible, don't go out and cheat. Don't do it. It's tempting, but don't do it. Learn the lesson that they've learned, you know? Learn that it's not healthy. And if you want to have an orgy where somebody else is not, their heart is not getting broken. So, that is my last and final say on that. I have spoken. If you want a private reading with me, feel free to email me, elizabetholson31@gmail.com. And I wish you all the best. I send you big hugs, big kisses. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Thank you. Take care.